What is potential? How do you describe it? How would you define it? See, potential is untapped power. I believe that potential is unused ability. Potential is dormant strength. Potential is hidden power. Potential is all that you could be, but you haven't become yet. Potential is how far you can go in life, but you haven't gone yet. I believe potential is who you really are, but we just haven't seen it yet. Potential is never about what you've done. It is only what you could do, but you haven't done yet. Potential is everything unused that still lies within you. Potential is your purpose wrapped up in your possibilities. Potential is the gap between the person who you currently are and who you are capable of becoming. Your potential is the proof that your best days are not behind you, but that they still lie ahead.
It was January 1st, 1986, a few minutes past midnight, and my friend sat in a chair much like the one that you are sitting in today, with the same dilemma that many of you are facing, and it was, can I actually do this? You see, in front of that room, there stood a pastor, and he gave an invitation to answer a call. It was a call that he knew was his, but he felt unqualified to answer. So he sat there, nervous, anxious, palms sweating, heart pounding. And there was this voice in the back of his head, and it was whispering, and it was saying, you know that you can't do this. You know who you've been, and you know what you've done. You know that every single time that you've tried before, that you've always failed. You know that people like you don't deserve good things like this, so why would you even try? I have a question. Is there anybody in the room that would admit that, man, like Jordan, I struggle with those same voices sometimes. I have that same voice of doubt. Jordan, I have those same limiting beliefs. I know that there are probably people that are listening right now that you came through those doors today. You came through those doors full of hope. That you came through those doors full of excitement. That you came through those doors full of an expectation that this time was going to be different. I know that you came with an expectation that this was going to be the time, that this was going to be the moment, that this was going to be the conference that was the turning point for my entire life. And before I'm speaking these words to you today, that old familiar voice is sitting, and I know that it's whispering to you right now. And I know what it's telling you. I know what it's doing. It's already stealing your dreams. I know what it's doing. I know it's already telling you when you look around this room why success is possible for other people, but why it would never be possible for somebody like you. I know what that little voice of doubt is whispering to you. It's reminding you of all of your past mistakes. I know what it's doing. It's reminding you of all of your flaws. I know what it's doing. It's reminding you of all the times before that you've tried and failed and why this time will be no different. I know what it's reminding you of. I know that it's reminding you of all of the pieces and parts of your life that you regret the most about yourself. But see, it just doesn't talk to the people in the back of the room. I know what it talks and says to the people in the front of the room too. If you're in the front of the room, it's telling you that you just got lucky. If you're up here in the front of the room, it's telling you, just give it time. They're going to walk away. They're going to all leave you. And if you're on the very back row, in the very tip top, I know what it's telling you. It's telling you that you've never been enough, that you currently aren't enough, and no matter how hard you try and change, that you will never, ever be enough. And if this is true of you, I bring good news today. You see my friend in the story, he overcame that voice, and I believe that you can too. So there he was. He was sitting. He was nervous, he was anxious, he was debating. And when he told me this story, he said, Jordan, he said, this night was different. I said, what was different about this night? He said, Jordan, because this night, he said, Jordan, that night, he said, I stood up. That voice, it got a little bit louder, and it said, who do you think that you are? He said, you know that you can't do this. He said, quickly, I stepped into the aisle, and he said, I took a step forward, and he said, the voice got just a little bit louder. And he said, it was telling me, you look like an idiot. You know that people like you don't deserve good things like that. He said, I didn't hesitate, Jordan. He said, I took another step forward, I took another step forward, and I took another step forward. And he said, that voice was no longer whispering, but it began to shout. And it said, get back over here. You'll never make it. You can't do it. He said, and Jordan, he said, for the first time in my life, he said, I closed my eyes. He said, and I stopped listening to myself, and I started speaking to myself instead. He said, what I said was, he said, I told that voice, he said, you know what? You're probably right. You know what? Everything that you're accusing me of, I'm guilty of. You're right, I've never followed through on anything in my entire life. Every promise that I've ever made to myself, I've broken it. And I've lost myself so many parts and so many pieces along the way that I don't even recognize myself when I look in the mirror. I'm so ashamed of who I've become and the people that I've hurt along the way. He said, you know what? You're right. Tomorrow, I probably won't be enough. He said, you know what? You're right. Tomorrow, I just might quit. You know what? Tomorrow, I might not be enough. You know, tomorrow, I just might throw in the towel. But not today. Said he put his head down and said that he ran up to the front of that room. He said, I don't know if I can finish tomorrow, but what I know that I can do is I can start today. Here's the key. Here's the key. Here's the underlying principle. I want all of you to take this away. You never have to develop the strength and the faith to conquer tomorrow. You only ever have to develop the strength and the faith to conquer today, because the greatest lie that we all believe is this one. We believe the lie that life is made up of years, or that life is made up of months, or that life is made up of weeks, or that life is made up of days, or that it is made up of hours, or that it is made up of minutes. I want to let you know, my friend, that it is not. It is only made up of moments. Your entire life, your entire existence is lived from one moment to the next, exactly like the one that we are all sharing here today. And you see, regret can only live in the past. Hope can only live in the future, but gratitude can only live in the present moment. We've all been taught and conditioned to believe that there are only two types of people in the world, and we all must fit in one of these two buckets. That there are optimists and there are pessimists. That there are those that see their glass as half empty, and that there are those that see their glass as half full. But I want to present a third option for you today. Maybe, what if there weren't just people that saw their glass as half empty or saw their glass as half full? What would happen if there was a group of people that were just grateful for the glass? See? I've been it all. I've been the one that sees the glass as half empty. I've been the one that sees the glass as half full. I've sat in rooms like this and my glass was running over, and I know what it's like to be sitting in here with a completely empty glass. And I want to let you know, can you still be grateful for that glass? Because if you have a glass, you still have an opportunity. If you have a glass, you still means that you have a chance for change. If you have a glass, I want to let you know that it's still not over. We are not a happy people, we are a grateful people. And my gratitude comes from a place of knowing that even on my worst days, even in my darkest moments, and even in the toughest seasons, that you always have enough to make it just one more day. I did not come to Denver for your applause, I came for your agreement today. So what I want to ask you to do is, upon hearing a statement that you fully agree with, don't stand up and say, I agree, unless you fully agree with me on this. Because if we do things here, we mean them. When you hear me say it, I want you to stand up to your feet. I want you to say, I agree. The first statement that I want to ask you to agree with me on is that that voice of doubt inside of your head and those limiting beliefs are a liar. Will anybody agree? I see you standing. I'm standing with you, because what you don't know is right on the other side of that corner, that voice was still talking to me today. Griffin, you know what he was telling me? He was still telling me, you can't do this. You're going to fall and you're going to fail. You know what you've done, and you don't deserve good things like that, Jordan. You don't deserve the mic, Jordan. You don't deserve the stage, Jordan. I said, you know what? You might be right, but not today. Will anybody in this room agree with me that almost will no longer be good enough? Will anybody agree with me today that you have enough for the journey ahead? Will anybody agree with me today that you did not come to Denver searching for a breakthrough, but that you are that breakthrough? Will anybody agree with me today that you are not here looking for an answer, but that you are the answer? Will anybody agree with me today that possibly and just maybe you are not broken, and maybe you do not need to be fixed, but maybe you only begin to need to give yourself more evidence that you already are exactly who you desire to be?
No sleep, we out here.